Okay, so we can start now. So welcome everyone. We are having people joining in. We are having this privilege of having Mr. Tikam Singh Shekhawat with us today, and we have had requested him to give his deliberation on the topic new HR best practices post COVID-19. As we know, uh, COVID-19 would be a game changer for everything that we have been part of lately. And Mr. Tikam Shekhawat is having a very experience in this particular field. He's the Chief Manager HR at Bennett and Coleman Company Limited, the Times of India Group, one of the leading groups in India. He's HR leader for rest of Maharashtra, Goa, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Kerala. So he knows it. We have a person who knows it inside out. So what gonna be the changes in the domain of human resources for private entities as well as various other companies working in various sectors. We are having participants who are mostly students practicing HR. Then we are having faculty members. We are having people who have done PhD in human resources. Then we are having also some of them are also from industry. So I'll just give some instructions in the beginning. We would be having around 30 minutes of talk, and post that we'll open it for question and answer. So whatever questions that you may have regarding the topic, you can put them in the chat box. So we would take them one by one. Um, and I would request everyone to just mute your video as well as turn off your audio so that we can have good connectivity. We can have a good experience of listening to Mr. Shekhawat. Hand it over to Mr. Shekhawat and request him to give his deliberation. Yeah, I
Am I
think
audible, Mr. Hegde?
yeah, you're audible. You're audible now. We can go ahead.
Wonderful, wonderful, great. Sure, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here on this platform and to connect with all such a interesting topic. I'd like to say thanks to CSPR, Mr. Hegde, Yogini ji, and for inviting me, providing this one. Uh, uh, there's an adjective in this topic, best HR practices. So I think it's too early to talk about best or not best, but let's talk about the HR practices post COVID 19, or you can say post lockdown. Post lockdown, everyone that the situation which we all are facing, that is COVID 19, and when I say we all, that means let it be from Maharashtra, Bengal, UP. It's not only about India; it's a global level. So this situation is unprecedented. None of us have had never ever thought about the situation. And just imagine, is so secular. It's not about irrespective of fact that whether you're in Asia, America, Africa, wherever you are, follow whichever culture you're from, the situation is same for everybody. So as an individual, as an HR manager, I think majority of the times you must understand that challenge the challenging times also provide us opportunity. A lot about challenging situations and various case studies situations. This is a time which has given a consistent and same challenge to almost all the industries, all the employers, and majority of the employees. It's a majority of the employees. The reason is if you talk about manufacturing, it's quite difficult to work from home. But if you talk about IT, ITES, we all have heard about TCS new for they are planning to take majority of the population with WFH work from home. This cannot be possibility in manufacturing, but in IT it is booming, it's moving on, right? So when it comes to HR practices, we need to touch base the threshold where we were, where we are, and how we can move forward. And when we move forward and when we talk about practices, best practices, good practices, we can only call this as a good or best practices if it able or help the business to survive, people to grow, and people to not to lose jobs, because at the end of the day, if losing a job, the society is going to suffer. So in the current pandemic situation, especially after when we move out of this lockdown, and I don't know whether how soon we are going to get the vaccine of corona or COVID-19, but this situation at least for some time would continue, and majority of us, we would need to live with the situation. And when I say when you need to live with the situation, you also need to have HR practices which support such kind of situation and which support help you and business to overcome such situation and to do business successfully. So as majority of you know that there has been job losses in recent past in market. If we take a figure from some of the renowned websites with reference to economy, I think I have gone through the study of Center for Monitoring India Economy Research, and it says around 6 crore population within the age bracket of 20 to 39 are losing job or are on a verge of losing job, or they have lost their job in April and May 2020. If somebody has lost a job, that means business is also suffering. So whatever little percentage of employees who are supporting the business and whatever little contribution business is making to the economy, if we want to make this survive and if we want to make other people who have perhaps lost the job to come back to the routine, then we must implement certain practices which would help us. Some of these practices could be which when I talk to a lot of my friends from the fraternity, HR fraternity, they are implementing, some of them have implemented, the restructuring of variable pay. When I say restructuring of variable pay, you can also call it incentive payout, because in IT is certainly it's directly related with your projects and everything. But when it comes to manufacturing, since plants are shut, it's really difficult to talk about the movement in production. It's very difficult to talk about, and in such situation, 10 to 12, if you see the market, especially domestic market in India, 10 to 12% of the overall top line in any year generally account for salary bill of that industry or company. So there is a possibility that majority of the part of this variable pay or this be directly linked to the overall output of the company, irrespective of the fact that whether company whether there has been profits, whether there has been losses, but it should be directly proportional to the output of the company. If there are profits, certainly employees will get the profit. But in case if there are losses, I've seen people saying, boss, I have contributed. So when you say you have contributed, that's good. But at the end of the day, business also make some money. And when I say money, it's profit. So linking of variable pay, to some extent, I've seen it's in majority of the cases it is linked to salespeople. In manufacturing, it's linked to production, but let it be linked to staff members. It should not be restricted to only a couple of departments or couple of segments of the industry. So restructuring of the variable pay, wherein the overall output has to be an important factor. Another important point which I see, which may come in coming time, or which people would inculcate in their strategies and policies. Nowadays, you might find a lot of specialists or a lot of jobs with specializations, a lot of jobs wherein XYZ become indispensable, and we call that person in the industry as he's a specialist, she's a specialist. That means if that person is on leave, nobody else can does that job, nobody else can do that job. So I think going ahead, people would be more cautious. People would make strong, when I say people, certainly HR fraternity should make strong plans to ensure that there is a succession planning. One must ensure that nobody is indispensable, and wherever there are cases of specialists, they should have some backup. Now just imagine, I'm on this Zoom call from Pune. Now Pune as a district, if you see, there is a population which is in Pune, but some of this population is working in nearby districts. For example, working at Satara district at Shirwar. And due to pandemic or lockdown, inter-district movement has been restricted. Even after lifting of lockdown, it would be with certain measures wherein once somebody cross the district, there will be a stamp of home quarantine or something else. So technically, since the employees were residing, some of the employees were residing outside the district of the location where the facility is located, it becomes difficult to get the specialists at the job, especially in the cases wherein they need to be there in front of machine. If they're managing the things from home, that's a different matter. But there are certain cases wherein they have to be there in front of the machines, and machines are there in manufacturing facility. So in such cases, if your specialist is stuck, the whole process gets stuck. And when I say whole process gets stuck, it means the business is going to get stuck. So it's also an opportunity. It's also a situation which HR fraternity must monitor, must visualize, and they should plan. Okay, Sandeep Hegdeji is saying you can write your questions to me. So ladies and gentlemen, your questions are most welcome. I'll be continuing the session. Meanwhile, whenever you think you have some question, you're most welcome to ask it. So the second point was keeping ready backup for the specialists, because for the jobs wherein it's more of a transaction, it's more of a routine thing, it's more of a skill which is perhaps not niche. You have many people, you have many resources who can fill the void in whenever there is an emergency. But if the situation comes wherein you only need or you need that XYZ specialist only, then there's a possibility that business may suffer. And by this strategy, one can ensure that the business continuity is not getting jeopardized because of such situation, which is literally or which is really not in the hands of anybody, and we cannot control it, we cannot restrict it. Another point could be, we also, especially in software side, especially in services sector, in last decade, if you see uh, people moving out of job, retrenchment, layoff, or employers asking employee, in worst cases, employers asking some of the members of their team to move on, has become normal. I mean, ultimately, we contribute to the business, and the moment the contribution of the business gets affected, there is a possibility the person would need to move on. But in such situations, in such cases, it is most important to ensure that there has to be backup of that skill set. So person is important, yes, because person is a resource, it's a human capital. But at the same time, we should have a copy. Uh, uh, we should have the similar skill as a backup, so that whenever there is a need, this backup can be utilized. And for this backup, if somebody have been asked to move on from his or her job, and if this would have been a case of 90s or 2000, I think uh, people used to fear to talk about this openly in the society. In case if there is a gap in the resume, people or the candidate would find some good reason to communicate to interviewer XYZ has happened because of this, or I was doing this, that, and hence there's a gap. But I think over a period, especially last decade or this decade, uh, employees also have understood, they have also become mature, and asking somebody to move on or on because of business issues, it's certainly not normal, but people are understanding this. So I think HR fraternity should not see this or see the cases wherever the resume has gap, especially because of pandemic or because of lockdown. This should not be seen as a negative thing. It's all situational. If somebody has lost the job, if somebody's employer could not manage the business because of pandemic or because of any other situation which is beyond his or her control, in such cases, it's not a mistake of employee, right? So the stigma of job loss or the involuntary resignation should not be carried by this employee, and HRs or HR fraternity should ensure that this should not hamper the recruitment of any such good employable person. If any such person has got good skills, if any such person has got a good aptitude, good behavior, and good attitude, and any such person meets the requirement of the any new job, I think that person should be given with an opportunity. Now just think about this case. We have discussed about 6 crore job losses in these 2 months. Certainly there will be a gap in resume, and I've seen people discussing taking at least 10-15 minutes during interview only to talk about why there is a gap and what has happened. So I think over a period of time this will also become a normal, very very normal situation, and HR fraternity uh, should not be worried because of somebody's movement from the job in such uncontrollable situations, and candidates also should not be worried. Another thing could be, such situations should be handling very very carefully. When I say very very carefully, that means one should maintain the dignity of the employee, one should maintain the respect of the employee, and going ahead, there is a possibility, I foresee a possibility to create outplacement cell, counseling cell, or maybe a placement cell for all such resources who would be moving because of business shutdown or because of issues with the current project, or maybe because of other issues in the company and their vertical, their unit, or maybe their business would become dormant due to such situation. So in such cases, I think going ahead, there's a possibility together, and they can help such people, they can help such ex-employees to find uh, suitable jobs in the outside market. Another point is such situations would also affect employees in terms of their morale, in terms of disturbance, in terms of their financial stability. Majority of the middle class, Indian middle class population, they live their life with some type of loan. It could be home loan, vehicle loan, personal loan, or whatever loan it is, but majority of them, they have loan. Now, in this situation, when there is a salary cut, people are losing jobs, do you think they would be in position, this population would be in position to repay the installments, repay the loan? It would really be difficult. So, in such cases, wherever such loans are granted by the banks, which have associations, which have either through salary account or maybe they have a direct agreement with the companies, uh, the fraternity should approach such banks and request them to provide whatever relaxation they can provide in terms of either uh, uh, moratorium or extending the overall EMI facility by 3 months to 6 months time, because these are the things which comes directly on the head of the person who loses job, and the stress level increases. And in such cases, instead of solving the situation, the panic would rise in the family and then ultimately in the society. Apart from this is also a time when we all, including fraternity, should think twice about creating an environment wherein people are embracing the technology. Gone are the times when somebody may say, I don't know SAP, I'm not keen on SAP, or else I would not learn XYZ module, or this is so technical, I can't do it. Gaya wo zamana. This cannot be accepted anymore. So at one side, employees should be ready to learn new things. Also, employers should also provide opportunities to the employees to learn few things which they think could be important for them. And there are many online courses which are not very costly. So through this, as an employer, you can create your employee with necessary, you can make your employee resourceful with various skills. And in such tough situations, it becomes easy, or it becomes at least uh, one can make an attempt to move, shift such resources in another unit, another vertical, wherever it is needed. As an employee should be ready for such things at maybe the intranet of the companies, to learn such new skills, to learn such new uh, competencies. But at the same time, I would suggest that let people see outside world for learning new things, because it's for your improvement, it's for your upliftment. So you should not wait for your employers to tell you and guide you about the new things which you should learn. I mean, you are also equally responsible, and you should be ready enough to learn these things on your off days, or maybe weekends, or maybe whenever you have time. Nowadays, I think majority of uh, the resources in terms of learning, they are available on net, and that too on a very meager cost. So this should be taken as an opportunity, and ensure that whatever field you're working in, you are at the top of the world when it comes to knowledge, or the overall information about that field. When I say top of the world, that means the rate at which information is changing, it's very fast. And hence it is very important to be at the top of the world, because if you're not at top, somebody else would come on top, and you may lose, or you may create a void of the position or the location where you were there. I think there has been some question, is it? I see.
Yeah, you can. What we would do instead of writing, since we are having a very great amount of young population here, we would let them speak. If you do have any question, just raise your hand so that we'll turn on your audio and you can directly ask your question. Just make sure that the question is related to the topic and try and be brief so that
And meanwhile, I can continue. I mean, if you have question, you're
sure,
most
sure.
welcome.
Meanwhile, you should continue and you can drop me a text that you need to ask some questions. So I'll turn on your audio.
And everybody working from remote has not been a new thing for employers also. But creating a situation wherein majority of the population of a center would need to work from home is a new thing. It have had never happened. And since it's a new thing, I think it's a high time to create employee friendly policies, employee friendly procedures to help them to serve the company well, at the same time to take care of them. When I say take care of them, because it's an opportunity for the employee to spend some more quality time with the family, to take care of self well-being, to do regular exercise, to opt for certain hobby which was perhaps dormant all this time because your time in commutation, like somebody is in Mumbai or Delhi. I know people are investing almost 3.5 hours a day in to and fro journey. So such time can be utilized in your learning, spending with your time spending in your with your family members, and you can balance. There's a possibility of managing a good work-life balance with the office requirement at the same time with your family members. So I think this thing can be seen as an opportunity or a win-win situation both by employer and the employee also, because when you travel, certainly you spend some amount, you spend some time, you spend an energy in all this, which can be saved, which can be avoided, and can be utilized in something else. But it is possible only and only when employers create employee friendly policy which boosts the morale of employee to work from home, and they also get necessary motivation, morale boosting sessions, and encouragement by the employers if they're meeting their targets, if they're meeting their job requirements. Also, over a period of time, safety had been a big budge. You go anywhere, let it be manufacturing, let it be services, safety certainly has been a big buzz. But after this pandemic, I think people would be more serious about safety things, especially HR faculty should be more serious, because people or resources who are coming to your office locations, they are worried about their health and well-being. Their family members are worried about their health and well-being. So as an HR fraternity, we need to create an environment which which help the employee to get a safe environment, a protected environment, and necessary PPEs or necessary equipments or necessary, let's in current situations, basic item like sanitizer, which would help employees to remain safe and to keep themselves safe in such tough situation. In such situation, it is also important to create an emergency team, because emergencies can come in various ways. It can be a fire emergency, it can be a pandemic like this, it can be a situation which could be related to some business related fluctuation. It could be a situation which could be related to wellness, which could be related to certain disease and certain times, certain era. And hence it is important to create an ERT, employee resource team, wherein you have team members from all the floors, all the locations, all the shifts who are on same platform, and who can deal with this situation at the right time. So when I say right time, it's about they can deal with this proactively and not reactively. For example, when this virus has spread from Wuhan, I'm talking about COVID-19, and when this lockdown has been announced, we have understood that majority of the people, they could not go their home because they had no idea about the situation which is getting worsened in recent time. There's a possibility of lockdown. So the communication, so the news, so the advices with reference to such situations which can come in, let's say, a week's time, month's time, should be communicated to the team, to the employees, so that people would be ready uh, with necessary resources for business continuity also, and to take care of their family members also. Yes, any question, please?
Yes, we do have a question from Miss Bhavna. What I'll do, I'll just turn on her audio,
Okay.
so that she can directly ask you the questions. Bhavna, I'll be unmuting you. You can directly interact with Mr. Shekhawat.
Yeah, Bhavana, please.
Yeah, hi, good morning, sir. This is Bhavna. I am having 7 years of experience into HR
Bhavna, can you
generalist.
can you be a little louder?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah,
Yes,
Bhavana,
yes,
you're
yes,
audible.
yes.
Please tell us.
Okay. Basically, I am a HR professional with 7 years of experience into generalist profile.
Okay.
So I wanted to understand what are, like, as you mentioned about some online courses to be upgraded, to upgrade
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. So can you suggest some of the online courses as well as any specific vendor if you know?
Okay. See, vendor, I would not recommend because there are many. I mean, there are various ads also you can see on Facebook. So, online courses is not a new thing, and there are many vendors on the for this, and the cost also is very. It's not a big cost. In fact, if you do executive MBA from IIM with the support of uh, uh, some online platform, the cost is really low in terms of when you do it in a full-time way. There is an academy and couple of more with reference to this, like Centum from Airtel, and there are much more. When you say what kind of course you should go for that, you must have last 7 years experience, one side. Second, what you really want to do and where your passion lies. And third thing is what is right. So in coming time, technology embracement is most important. So any kind of course which would help you to upgrade yourself in terms of technological knowledge, certainly with reference to HR. It could be related to SAP HR, it could be related to performance management system, it could be related to uh, online modules of various HR processes. It would help you to value add to your current skill sets. And whenever you have a value add, you get an upper edge in comparison to other candidates. See, what is right cannot be generalized. You need to see it from the glasses of your last 7 years of experience, what you want to do, and what is available. Have I answered your question, Bhavna?
Yeah, I think so. So there is a similar question from Shaheen Khan. She was asking, she's a student. So
Okay.
she was asking what courses that students should be doing who are pursuing their MBA in HR.
Okay. So everybody who is on this webinar, I request all of you to, if possible, subscribe my YouTube channel, which is by my name, Tikam Shekhawat, and the other name for the same channel is Faster Movers. Let me answer Shaheen. Shaheen, as an HR, as a student pursuing MBA HR, instead of doing any additional course, I would suggest you should spend some time understanding the processes or the checks in practical way. So one option is you go to industry and you do a project, which I think you must have done it. So, and current lockdown you cannot do, right? So I suggest you go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to Google. So for example, buzzword is recruitment. So what is happening in recruitment? How does it happen? To which extent recruitment remains recruitment, and to when exactly placement start? Performance management. Because in book, in uh, on net, in word files, we find many processes, many procedures, but how does it actually happen? How do